Welcome to the Safety Third podcast. Today we're going to start off by admiring the new Safety Third shirt. Alan, you look great, and your shirt looks even greater. Isn't that? Look at how soft and embedded in the fabric it is. I went on a whole tirade on our Patreon server about how cool this shirt is, and I'm not saying that to convince you to buy it. I'm saying that because it is a very nice shirt.
I feel like a new man. I was a different person before I put the shirt on, and it was a worse person.
No, now everyone thinks we're being sarcastic and that shirt is crap.
No, I'm 100% serious.
Nigel, what was yours?
Reborn.
In what way were you bad, Alan, that it made you less bad?
Just, my skin was rougher because I was wearing inferior cloth, and now it's smoother.
But the inferior cloth has more of an abrasive action that would smooth your skin down.
That's not how it works for the soul, dude. Yeah, that's not how... It's not
constantly exfoliating you.
You ever seen a runner with bloody nipples?
I've heard of it. I've also heard of them peeing while they're running. I never did that cross-country stuff, but that's what I heard.
He never really ran.
I remember there were guys in cross-country that had much apparently softer nipples than some of the other guys, and their shirts would abrade them to the point where they bled, so they'd have to wear pasties.
You sure maybe they just weren't like I don't know, it was a weird evolutionary thing for if your babies were vampire bats and that's how you would feed them? Maybe that's what male nipples are for.
I think you may be on something.
Yes, it's called the Safety Third t-shirt, and it's so... How much does this thing cost?
$30.
That's worth every penny. Did these come from China? Where'd these come from?
They were made here. Okay, so when people say things made in China are worse, there's like the notion that things made in China
I think they're
worse.
better, but I might have a bias. So I was born in Seattle. I'm an American.
We've been doing a lot of manufacturing and learning to deal with Chinese manufacturers. I have very bad news for America. The Chinese manufacturers are not only cheaper, but also better and more flexible and more capable and have better resources than American manufacturers.
I guess it depends on which realm you're in.
I mean, nah.
I bet we make better Coca-Cola and guns.
I think you're definitely right about that.
Can't get that in China. It is legitimately a nice shirt. I'm trying to make merch for the first time, and I'm getting samples of designs for the first time, and the printing on this shirt, it's not that kind of heavy plasticky. I have samples of a shirt that's they're just puckered because the print is so thick. This is a legitimately very nice print on this shirt. That's my actual pitch. I'm extremely
happy with it.
Yeah, I lied before. It made me a worse person, but it's a nice shirt.
I know people think we're just trying to advertise, but I could talk all day. I've just had an infatuation ever since I was a kid of the lemonade stand, selling things. I just like the idea of having a stand or a store and you sell stuff and then there's the engineer brain, which causes a lot of problems that sort of likes to make things good. Do you have that problem? And I feel like we all have that problem. Nigel has that problem for sure. Overthinking
nothing
everything.
I make is good.
That's not true. That's not true, Nigel. I'll show you in a bit. I got an amazing... Someone messaged me a TikTok, and it's an amazing use of your voice, Nigel.
I think I might have seen it.
Have you already seen it? It's I think it might be a trend right now, actually.
Yeah, I might have seen something.
What is it?
Oh, do you want to... Because we were talking about shirts. I didn't want to derail that, but...
No.
But Alan, you've been holding this in the whole time.
Yeah, okay, hold on.
This t-shirt is a personification of our podcast.
Just a regular light bulb. But I'm only interested in its insides. This is just a regular light bulb.
Nigel.
So
I didn't do that. That wasn't me.
Is this a Nigel and NileRed fan?
This is someone using this. Well, the sound just sounds like Nigel, but
someone corrupted my video.
The video is of a woman being pushed into a bed and falling over when Nigel's voice says, "I'm only interested in what's on the inside." It has 178,000 likes.
Nigel. She was cute.
The thing.
Nigel.
Wait. I want you.
no, this is gonna be. We're getting Nigel a girlfriend.
Alan, was that on? It was on TikTok, right, Alan?
That's TikTok. That is
Go
TikTok.
do me a favor. I only figured this out like 2 hours ago.
Okay.
Go DM her.
Click on
and
the sounds.
Ask how
Click
close
on the
she is to where
sounds.
Nigel
Click
is.
on the sounds, Alan, and you'll see.
Original sound, NileRed.
Yeah, and you'll
There's
see
the
how
original,
you'll see all the other people who've used it.
Okay, let's see. POV, you see your long-distance girlfriend after a month. Oh, okay. It's someone just menacingly looking at a woman while your voice is saying, I'm only interested in what's on the inside, has 229,000 likes.
Just wait. Alan, just scroll down.
I think we might be doing social media wrong.
I'm scrolling down, and these are, oh my God, some of these get pretty graphic. Holy crap.
Wait, I want to see.
Here, look at here, just the thumb on this one. Look at that one. There's the thumbnail.
Nigel,
on that
you've
one.
made it.
I did it.
How are you still single, Nigel?
Oh my God! When she gets pushed over, you can see a lot of stuff. Wow.
Nigel, there's literally women throwing themselves at your voice. Oh my God! Did we have to blur that? I think we might have to blur that.
Yeah, I think that this might actually violate something.
Well, I hate to break it to you, but people using your voice on the TikTok app. That's on the TikTok app. I don't know why I sound like I'm 800 years old.
Because you are.
People using your sound on TikTok, they literally don't care who you are.
Nope. No,
I don't know.
How many of these are there?
I think there's a chance.
456 videos.
We need to get 15,000 shares on this.
Oh my God. Some of these, I'm not going to click. Oh my God. These are like just the, I'm not clicking on these, but look at just the thumbnail on that one. Look at that.
Okay. Yeah, we have to blur these.
There's some where it's like you can see a girl like midway taking off her shirt.
Nigel,
oh my goodness.
You have accomplished
Jesus.
something most men can only dream of accomplishing in their lifetime, and I think you should be very proud.
I just didn't think my video was.
Well, that makes it even worse for the rest of us.
Oh Jesus! Look, this one's very wide.
Put the phone down, Alan. So, Nigel, what's the secret? How do you do it?
Yeah, why aren't people making audio or using my audio like this?
I'll tell you the secret. You just gotta hunker down, work hard, really put the hours into it, and
some elbow grease, and gumption.
Exactly, and then you produce what you believe is a quality product, and the market
and then
will
women
do as it pleases.
Women will expose themselves over your product.
Everything Nigel does on this podcast just solidifies the Chad status, the status, as you might say.
He's a giga sleeper Chad.
Yeah, he's like
Chad.
a 98 Civic that's got like 800 horsepower.
It has a Tesla motor.
I mean, that's bad, right? Like I shouldn't assume what people would assume about you, right? Just by your videos and how you look, right? But you don't, I feel like people wouldn't see you and think like, yeah, that's a Giga Chad.
I identified as Giga Chad my whole life, and you're now threatening.
Sorry,
that.
you know what? It's my compass is miscalibrated. I just didn't I didn't pick up on it right away. I was
right away. You've known me for years, but it's like
sorry. I was surprised. I don't
think I've ever identified as a Giga Chad. I know my place.
I have not either.
I know what I have to offer to society, and it's not that.
I did want to comment on the specific clip, the sound clip that's being used.
Yes, I would like to hear your comment.
Okay, so when I make the TikToks, the goal is you want to make, obviously, the first line sound interesting.
Of course, yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So that was about a light bulb breaking. And since the light bulb exploded, and then we picked out the filament, when I said insides, I literally was more alluding to
a woman's inside.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like some sort of injury.
I wasn't thinking
gross.
light bulb when I watched your TikTok.
You definitely didn't see it then. There's literally just a light bulb on the screen.
But I was.
It's literally a light bulb. I wanted to anthropomorphize the light bulb so people
Well, it
would feel
worked.
bad.
It definitely worked.
What is that? What does anthropomorphized mean?
It means that you think light bulbs are sexy.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Will, then it worked.
I'm trying to find the closest thing that's ever. See, I don't get anything like that, but I did get one when I did the video where I gave snakes their legs back. Someone did fan art of like a sexy furry version of the snake. It's
That's
actually
an oxymoron, right?
It's actually really cool. I mean, not in like a sexual way. Not that there's anything wrong with that. It just didn't personally do that for me. But I feel like I'm defending myself.
But if it
too
does
much
for
now
somebody else,
about
I'm
how
not saying that you
sexy
can't have that.
this sexy snake is that I don't personally think is sexy, but is objectively sexy. If
Is
you're
this? Are
into
we
that.
going for like world
Wait, Alan,
like,
what are you
land speed
talking
record
about?
of most blurred? Yep, we are. We're going most blurred shots in a podcast episode. That is exactly
it's
what
like
we're going.
so it's like the snake, but like the robot. Like look at the detail, right? Because it's like she's wearing a collar.
All right, everyone.
that-
So, Safety Third, we're trying to raise money to build a physical set. If you want to see the unblurred image of what Alan is showing you right now, head on over to Patreon.
Because like, look, you can see the servos for the wires. This artist has
Yeah, I can-
repurposed into part of the thighs. You see that?
Cannot
and then
believe
like,
you even noticed there were servo there. This is
isn't it amazing?
it's incredibly well done.
The color scheme is they made this like within a day of the video publishing. Like whenever like a t-shirt company is like dragging their feet on getting designs back for like a simple logo, and I think like a furry artist did this in like a day. I'm like, what are you guys doing? This was free. This was just on the
Yeah.
internet for free.
Overworked. Too many things, too little time. That's the right answer, or the sad answer. It turns out that a lot of people who have talent can do a lot of things that make you recognize their talent, but if you ask them to do too many things in too little time, they can't really properly explore that talent.
I think this person could draw 100 of those snakes in a day if they,
But wait,
they
Alan,
really wanted to.
who is this person?
It was just some person on Twitter. Someone just replied to the snake legs video with that image. I think it's amazing. It's not like biologically accurate because there's no reason why a snake would have boobs.
Wait, show me one more time.
Okay, yeah. Like it's.
I think
it's,
I just.
So you didn't
Here, yeah.
ask. You didn't ask. For
No, I did
That's
not ask
just-
for this.
That's a human body with a snake head.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you know, look at the tail. Come on, there's a
Yeah,
tail.
and
Oh,
there's
I
a
didn't
tail.
notice that. Yeah, that's a
And a
human
lab.
body
Nigel
with a
was
snake.
distracted.
No, because I
Nigel just
thought
outed
it
himself
was
as a
just. I
pervert.
thought it was just the background or something.
Yeah, like the also like the fact that the transparent tube is represented as like a semi-transparent cape is like it's just amazing.
How much time have you spent staring at that? Because I did not even think twice about.
I noticed the cape.
Couple hours.
I did notice the cape. I noticed the tail.
I saw
Yeah,
the cape. I didn't realize it was the tube. How
and
did
I
you draw
noticed
that?
like the colors. On...
Well, because the snake, it's like the snake itself. Like if it did have a tube, you wouldn't be able to see the boobs, and so the way they solved that was they kept the aesthetic, but they turned the tube into a cape, so it goes around the back.
Yeah.
Yeah, because otherwise it would obscure the figure,
Which would be horrific.
of
Yeah,
the
it'd just
snake
be
woman.
terrible.
Yeah,
I don't think I would put it beyond the artist who drew that to actually draw that, but with the tube around it.
I think it
feel like
was a
fits-
creative choice. I
it
think it
fits
was a
the vibe.
smart choice. Yeah,
I'm not
I
saying
think
that
it was-
they're wrong. I'm just
Yeah.
saying they definitely could have put it in a tube. And I would not have been surprised.
So like that's the best I've been able to do. I haven't gotten any like women to do TikToks over my voice, but I did have a furry
Yeah,
artist
but-
draw a snake for me.
You got to make, I guess, weirdly ambiguous TikTok.
I have the only thing I have was commissioned by Pay Money Wubby. I
Oh,
think you guys
yeah.
have seen that picture.
Oh yes, yeah.
Where
yeah.
it's Pay Money Wubby, me, and Michael Reeves, kind of drawn in like an anime style, naked.
And what were you doing? What were
I
you
was
doing in
Michael was like laying on his back or something, and I was like admiring. I was admiring Michael Jr., but it was very big, Michael Jr. And then Pay Money Wubby is standing kind of in the background wearing Lightning McQueen Crocs, and Pay Money Wubby Jr. was very small. It's a really, really good piece of art. They paid a shop to print it and frame it, and I think that was the most uncomfortable part of the process of him. It was like a housewarming gift, and I can only imagine, you know, based on what he said, that going to a store to have somebody put the frame and everything together was.
What, just like at a Michael's or something? Are you allowed to just bring like pornographic images into a Michael's and have them frame it?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, there is that like a First Amendment thing? Like they just have to frame whatever
Any
you
naked picture you bring in?
into the store. Yeah, like they can't
as
just
long as it's not
confuse.
illegal or against store policy. Like I could see it being against store policy, but also like I don't I don't know. I don't know. Is it like there's stories of film development places coming across material that is illegal, but like if you are taking pictures, like people, there's all sorts of pictures like not safe for work stuff that people do for art or for I don't know why, for fun,
pleasure,
and there's nothing wrong with doing that. Like that's totally fine. And the film lab, when they process them, is going to see them, and like, who cares? I don't know, right? I don't know.
Yeah, it's just something feels so much more kind of like the fact that it's a big thing that gets put into a frame. Some like you can't just like in a photo place they put it in like a little envelope and they hand it to you. There's no doing that with a whole ass frame.
No, it's definitely a much more aggressive experience of being presented a giant printed piece of art or having to print it out yourself and like stare at it. Because I know, so the people I know that work in a photo lab now, it's like photo labs used to be a bunch, and then there was not so many. Now it is like a viable business now because of how few there are. And they do look at every negative because they're double checking to make sure everything is coming out correctly and whatnot. And so you do get a glimpse of everything, but you're not sitting there, printing it and then framing it. But you do see stuff.
I don't know how to tie this into the safety third Polaroids, but I feel like there's something with the safety third Polaroids.
If we just these episodes just devolve into a sales pitch. I talked about the building a physical set, I think, in the last episode. Mm-hmm. I don't know if we talked about on Patreon or where we talked about was it the last episode? Maybe the one before, the one we just posted.
Yeah, I don't remember if it was during or if it was during the Q&A, in which we only answer 2 Q&As ever at a time for an hour.
Correct. Correct. But I have a goal that I'm trying to establish. To do everything in person. And so you're going to see us promoting Safety Third merch and the Patreon a lot. Sorry. That brings me to this delightful Safety Third dumpster fire pin.
Oh, that's nice. Isn't
that great? Look at this. Yeah. What's the TV show that is just ads? They're like selling crap, the whole thing? Something network?
Like QVC?
QVC, yeah. This is like QVC, except the products are actually pretty good. Look at that. Look how good that looks.
Do you have the open hole sticker?
Yes, I do have the open hole sticker. So pins are really actually surprisingly easy to make. I don't know how they do it, but they're not like as complicated as some stuff you think they would be, because it's a piece of metal. Is it like die cast or something? I don't know. But yeah, we got a dumpster fire.
It's hefty. It's nice.
Yeah, these are big boys.
Yeah, if you put that on your on your backpack, if you slap someone with it, that'd leave a nasty mark on someone's face. If you had to,
it would say
defend
Safety
yourself.
Third, but backwards. It'd be like a little dumpster, but it would be mirrored. And then we've got a cool work. I'm actually really proud of this stuff. I love making stuff like this, and everything came out super great. Like a little workplace warning sticker of a guy getting ground up between two gears.
That's nice.
This is good.
I like how his legs, you can see his legs have come out all ground up.
You can tell what direction he's going.
Yeah, it's a really nice detail.
Nigel, have you seen the pins?
I did not see
We're
them.
promoting stuff while you were gone. Where did you go?
To check on my freeze dryer.
Oh.
Wow, you don't even know
Dumpster fire
follow-up
pin?
question.
Look at this.
That's really cool. Where'd you have them manufactured?
I don't actually know. I can ask Hannah. And then this is the meat grinder one. Oops.
Oh.
I love this stuff. I love the stickers too. Like the stickers are, I don't know. I feel like for whatever reason the ideas for Safety Third came out really kind of good. Like really, like if I saw this in a shop, I would buy this. So this is for anyone listening, it's a sticker. It's like a workplace warning sticker, and it's a man being ground up by a wood chipper, and the sticker says machine repair costs come out of your paycheck. Kind of some Portal, Cave Johnson Portal vibes. This one right here is my personal favorite.
Yeah, that one's
Danger
very good.
Open Hole. And for
Very
the audio
good.
listeners, I'm not gonna. Nigel, do you want to describe this one for the audio listeners?
It's a sign that says "Danger, Open Hole."
I don't think you're describing
What
it
does
completely.
it look like, Nigel?
It looks like a warning sign.
That's it.
Yeah.
Just
Why are you smiling when you say that?
I think maybe Nigel's hesitation is enough description of what this thing could possibly look like.
I know. All we have to do is ask now. Just explain something, and everybody knows it's inappropriate. Anyways, that's our push to safety third merchandise. Link in the description below. And if you support the Galaxy Brain tier on Patreon, you get 15% off and early access. Actually, all Patreon tiers get early access to merchandise, because I know Ludwig, actually, the Yard, a much more successful podcast than us. People were pissed at them because they did a podcast, the Yard drop, and they sold out before it ever went public. It was only within Patreon. We don't have that problem.
Why not?
I think because we're a worse. I know what I have.
So, well, I mean, at least there'll be plenty of shirts to go around.
We have actually sold quite a few, though. I think they're going to sell out. So if you like the shirt, you like any of the other stuff, the stickers are selling super well. Grab it now. If you don't want anything, that's also fine. Do you want to know something fun?
No.
Yes.
I mean, yeah.
So there's this website that is it rates drivers. You can go to it and you can rate a driver based on their license plate. And currently, I am the worst rated driver in all of the continental United States for November.
What? Who is submitting these reviews? Is it like stars? Is it like Yelp?
Yeah, it's just user submitted reviews. You just go on there and you type in the license plate and you say good driver or bad driver, and you can leave a comment.
I feel like, I guess it kind of makes sense, but it feels like so much effort. Like, I feel like the only people who would ever fill out information on this website are insane people.
No. If it says he's the worst, it must be accurate.
I am this person's neighbor. We found kittens that were taking shelter under the car, and one was stuck in the exhaust. What? When we went over to try and rescue the kitten, the owner turned on the car and rev bombed the engine, shooting the kitten out the back. The kitten flew for 1,732 meters and set a new high score in kitten can on addictinggames.com. Absolutely inhumane. I was also there as he plowed through a crosswalk full of kids. Man is a menace. From Little Willie. Although the other one was from Ligma Johnson. That's an interesting name.
I remember seeing this car driving very erratically with its windows entirely blacked out. And then they drove off the road into a crosswalk full of kids. Very scary. Would not recommend hanging around.
I love the very first one from 2018 that just says William Osman's car.
So somebody messaged me. Somebody on the Safety Third Discord messaged me like, "Oh, on the William Osman public Discord, someone posted a link to my page on this website, and they said something that made me think I had a bad score, and I was like, am I getting bad reviews on this website? No, I don't think so. I think what's happening is people come here and they just figure out like celebrities or politicians' license plates. So like if you look at the one below me, I'm pretty sure that is Ron DeSantis.
Oh, for worst drivers in November.
In November, yeah. So it's kind of a cool idea. But anyways, once people got a hold of that, I mean, I don't have to explain it. You read them.
I saw his pee-pee and it's very small. That guy is a bitch. Shame on you. Do better. This is not for Will. This is for Ron DeSantis. Watch out. He might demand you touch him.
I kind of like this idea, though. Imagine if you could kind of create like a more, I don't want to say a public database, but something that was like more official than just whatever this random thing is. Like actually getting to look at the leaderboards of the real actual worst drivers in the country.
You can embed videos. One of the top worst drivers in November, the comment is a YouTube video. It's titled "Shaming an Ambulance Chaser." So this license plate must be like a shady lawyer.
Which one?
Number 10. Or wait, no. Yeah, number 10. 1AP861. And it's a video that's embedded as a comment. And so there's an ambulance driving by, and then this car with the license plate is like blasting through traffic right behind the ambulance.
So to be fair, it doesn't take a whole lot to get on the leaderboard of this site because the number 10 worst driver in November in the entire country is -5. It's got 5 thumbs down, and I'm pretty sure it's because of the video. People are just watching it. It's not like they've gotten scores from.
Yeah, why is there? I can't believe there's best. Number 10 on best is just Jesus. It's a novelty plate. But this is awesome. Although there's like all the best ones. There's a lot of repeats. Jesus is up there a lot. Satan's up there a lot.
It's not. I kind of do like the idea of this website, but it also will never work. You'll never actually know who the worst drivers are.
In October, number 7 best is dumber, but number 6 is dumbest. Both in Kansas for some reason.
This website means something. I was just thinking it'd be an interesting, like a good clickbait title for this to say I'm the worst rated driver.
Oh, a New York plate that says "ass man." That's a fantastic reference for August. Number 9.
Can you actually get license plate? What's?
Oh wait, there's a Mr. Beast.
That is absolutely not Mr. Beast car. There's no way.
The comment says it's Mr. Beast. It's the license plate is Mr. Beast, and the comment says it's Mr. Beast. It's got 1 thumbs up in North Carolina.
Would you guys rate yourselves as a good driver?
I think I'm at least average.
Exceptional, yeah.
Also, put your mic closer to your mouth.
Exceptional, yeah.
Oh my god, look how good he sounds.
Now lick your lips a little bit. Smack those lips around for us. Yeah.
Exceptional.
Yeah, thank you, Nigel. That was wet.
I think everybody thinks they're a good driver, right? Right? Like, no one says they're a bad driver. Do you know who says I'm a bad driver?
I think I've met people that have described themselves as bad drivers.
My friend Zach
explain. What does he say?
He told me, he goes, I shouldn't be on the road.
But does that mean...
I'm a menace, Nigel.
He has done... No, I don't want to shame him. He has done some things that are inexplicably bad.
How did that sentence start with, I don't want to shame him?
No, I don't want to specifically...
And then you proceeded to shame him.
I don't want to specifically say the things he's done.
Okay.
Did he plow through a group of kids in a crosswalk?
Not yet. He's working on it.
It starts with animals.
Like
working his way up.
When I drive with him, I don't feel unsafe. But it's like he has just done some things while driving that he'll tell me about, and he's like, "Yeah, that was bad." And I'm like, "How did you even have that happen? Like this didn't happen." But like a hypothetical version would be like, I accidentally drove on the wrong side of the road for like 20 minutes.
I've done that, not for 20 minutes, but for like longer than I should have.
In a residential neighborhood or on a highway?
Not on a highway, like through street.
We had
like a one-way street.
No. It was I cannot. It was I was a teenager. I was coming home like from a party. It was late. I had not been drinking or anything. I don't know what happened.
So you had no excuses.
There was no excuse other than my brain just momentarily didn't exist. And for whatever reason, for a solid, I gotta say at least like 2 minutes, 3 minutes, I was just driving in the UK. I was
Interesting.
Yeah, a cop pulled me over. That's the only reason I got back onto the right side of the road, was because there was a cop following me and turning on his lights. I was like, what is he why is he pulling me over? And then as I was
on the wrong side of the road.
Yeah, as I went to pull over, I was like, oh wait, that's why. Because I was like, all right, I'll pull over. Wait a second.
Hello, officer.
That's your only.
Hello, governor. Lovely day we're having.
Oh, sorry, I forgot.
The craziest thing is like he didn't question me too hard, which I feel like he definitely should have. But he was like, do you realize you were driving on the wrong side of the road? And I was just like, yeah, I'm sorry, I had no idea what happened there. I just like had a brain fart. And he like stared at me for like a solid 5 seconds, just to like in my eye, and then he was like, all right, and then he just let me go.
He's probably about to get off shift, and he's like,
yeah. It's like, whatever this is, I don't want to deal with it.
I've only done a couple of bad things. I think that I would call myself a a very aware and defensive driver. But also, like, I will drive aggressively.
You're a very rage. You have a lot of road rage. There is a lot of
Rage there. You have a lot of rage in your soul.
Okay, tell me why you think I have road rage. Because, like, to me, road rage is very aggressive. Like doing aggressive maneuvers that are dangerous. Like brake checking people and stuff like that.
I think it's just the vibe. It's not necessarily what you do, although I have seen you do some very aggressive maneuvers because, you know, you have the acceleration.
Yes,
but like
torque.
Yes.
When
but
I get the car, when Chelsea lets me take the car, I get the torque. Other than that, I'm driving a 98 Ford Taurus.
Other than that, it's very much it's a very like reactionary thing. You're very in tune. I would say you're a traffic empath. You're very in tune with the actions and thoughts of others, and your response is rage.
Because
rage-a-hall.
Because it's exhausting dealing with like. Yeah, I think actually I
an
think
automotive
empath. Because I'm not gonna say I don't think I'd ever claim to be a good driver, but I do not get in other people's way, and I do not get into accidents. Like, I don't have close calls.
So it's like I think it's hard to say. I feel it's weird to say like if you are a good driver because it's such like. I guess skill exists on a continuum. You don't just have like, I guess after a certain threshold you could be good. I don't know. I think it's like it's just kind of like how often do you put other people in danger because if you're driving? If it's very low, then you're a better driver. If it's high, then you're probably bad.
So my sister, I think, has been rear-ended like half a dozen times, and it was never her fault.
Or so she claims.
No, legally, it was not her fault because if you get rear-ended, it's usually
that's
the
what
person
you're
who
saying,
hit
yeah.
you.
She just like
So
brake check a lot.
when I have no idea.
But he has his theories.
I have never been rear-ended.
So I've been rear-ended twice, but I wasn't driving. So and both times it was raining. And one time the guy's like, "Dude, I went to go hit."
Yeah.
He goes, "I went to go hit the brake," and he goes, "My boot slipped off the brake." And he goes, "I screwed up." To be fair, he goes, "I noticed too late." He goes, "My boot slipped off," and he goes, "I kind of panicked and slipped again." But he was only going like 20 kilometers an hour, so it's like
I have only gotten in 2 accidents that involved other vehicles, and they were both my fault. So, but neither of them was bad. So, like, I've gotten, I think, in 3 accidents total.
I've never crashed.
And the first one was like learner's permit, brand new driver trying to make a lane change on an industrial section of town, and the woman just like didn't let me. You know how drivers will kind of like try to stop you from getting over?
Yeah.
And when you're 15 and a half years old and you're like scared of driving and you're like, oh, you're going over too, like I wasn't aggressive enough. So she came in, I hit her, but just gently tapped, and we pull over, go to a parking lot. I think it was very clear that my mom's like, oh, it's his first week driving, and the woman's like, oh, okay. Like, I think she it was, we just walked away. Like, nobody.
Yeah,
there was
she should have let you in.
She probably should have let me in. I don't really count that one. Second one is, I guess would that make it 4? I'm not really sure. No, that was not my fault though. A woman changed lanes into me. Not my fault. The one that was my fault was I was coming to an intersection, a red light at an intersection. It was raining, and the light was just changing. Sorry. So I was coming to a yellow light at an intersection. I was going to go through the intersection because there's still time to go through. The guy in front of me decided to stop. And so he essentially stopped at a yellow light, which I guess, is legally, he's allowed to do that. I hit the brakes locked up. It was an old truck, and I slid into him. And so I probably hit him at like a couple miles an hour, but it was enough to kind of like hit him, and then he kind of slid forward a little bit. And we pull over, go through the intersection. Once it turns green, pull over. He looks at my car. I look at his car. I look at him, and he just says, "It's okay." And then we just left.
Nice.
The only damage that I've ever had driving was hitting the K-rail on the 101 coming home, because it's going around a big bend down a hill, and there was a highway patrol officer behind me with his lights on. I thought I was getting pulled over, and he was actually going to the accident that was right in front of me around the corner. And so I was paying attention to him, being like, oh God, oh shit, oh no. And I look up, I look kind of more forwards. There's cars just like at a dead stop. So I slam on my brakes, and am just sort of like skiing in the fast lane and managed to kind of get in between the car that was in front of me and the K-rail. So I hit the K-rail really hard, or maybe like 15 miles an hour, 20 miles an hour. No airbag or anything, but it kind of tweaked the front of the car, and I didn't hit anybody though. So
there you
it was
go.
only my
That's nice.
problem. I drove the car home and it ran fine. The hood just didn't ever really work right. After that, try to open it and close it, and it would just not.
I T-boned a van once, but hear me out, it was not my fault.
How is T-boning a van not your fault? Were you which part of the T were you?
I was the bottom. I was the one. I hit him
If
in
you
the
do the
side. But
T-bone,
okay, look. I T-boned him, but it was his fault
He pulled out,
because
didn't
he ran a red light.
Oh, okay.
So he drove out in front of me right when I was passing through the intersection,
So
and I could not stop it.
It was either he was going to T-bone you or you were going to T-bone him.
one or the other, and I managed
Someone
to T-bone
was-
him. It almost totaled my car. I was literally like a couple $1,000s away from it being just completely totaled. And
This is
ended
a
up being
Prius?
in the shop for it was a Prius. You never
it's
tell.
still
the Prius is
around.
fine. Yeah, yeah.
So
That's it?
So there was a really bad one after that where I somehow convinced the body shop to give me a loaner, and I feel like they didn't really have there. It wasn't super legit. I almost feel like it might have not even have been their car necessarily because I didn't sign anything. They just kind of let me have a car. And then this one also wasn't my fault, but I was downtown LA. I was going through an intersection, and someone tried to turn left. There was no left turns at that intersection, and they also turned left when I was driving through the intersection. They tried to turn left. They turned left right into the side of the car.
Dude, if you drive enough, you're gonna end up having some sort of thing that happens to you.
Yeah.
Like you're never gonna escape. Like I've driven well over 100,000 miles. Like you're gonna have incidents.
I have never crashed.
How many miles have you driven?
A lot. Like my
100,000?
Maybe it's just
Like,
more
at
open
least
in
100,
Canada.
yeah.
I don't know.
I'm
There's
just
more
pro
stuff going on
because
here.
I had my car for 4 years and I drove like almost 100K and I never.
Kilometers?
You're
That's
right.
not
So that's like 60 miles, 60K
100K
miles.
kilometers.
But that's
Yeah.
4 years out of my 15 years of that I've had my license.
Okay.
And I drove
trying-
more
I-
back then.
Well, I guess Nigel's the best driver then.
I win.
Yeah.
You want a trophy?
Yeah. Wait, I want to share you my theory because I have a big theory, or it's not even a theory. It's just I need someone to do this research.
Okay.
My
okay.
theory. I guess it is a theory.
Nigel's about to say the most racist thing you've
I
ever
know.
heard.
I'm so excited.
I just said
That's what I want.
I just said I don't.
I want Dark
I'm like,
Nigel.
it isn't a theory. Okay, here's my theory.
Shadow Nigel.
I don't believe. I mean, maybe I've literally done no research on this. I believe when it comes to driving, the skill level, it's a bimodal distribution. I don't believe that there's
That is
anybody in the middle.
Far beyond the scope of my
So wait, was that like
intelligence.
a valley bimodal? What is?
I don't
that
know.
like?
I haven't even looked up.
Like, what shape
I
is
haven't even
that?
looked up what.
inverse Gaussian?
Okay, bimodal. Okay, I learned this in stats class like 10 years ago.
Okay, yeah.
I just assumed
What
it
does
was a
that
thing.
Mean
So it means like there's kind of nobody in the middle. It's just like it exists as two extremes. So I think you're either just somebody who is a menace on the road and then somebody who is very aware on the road. And I think those
there's nothing in between.
and I don't think there's very little in between because my perception is there's half the people on the road drive as though they're the only ones on the road, and then the other people are very like nervous about everyone else being a terrible driver. So then they will notice the mistakes that they're like, like this guy's about to merge, like he's just gonna cut everyone off, so I'm not gonna like go next to him because he's just gonna hit me.
Yeah.
It's like complete.
There's a lot of posts on Reddit, the idiots in cars,
Yeah.
where the OP, the poster, is gets flamed because they think that like, yeah, I did, and they're like, dude, you did like, yeah, sure, it was the guy was being a dickhead, but you like made it worse.
So when I drove a lot more at the old office. We saw some stuff where my brother and I still talk about it. We watched a guy merge onto the highway with traffic while on his phone. He never looked. And I turned to
Wait, how do you drive?
Well, I turned to my brother and I'm like, Corey, this guy's merging. He's not looking. If we keep going, we will just hit him. He doesn't even. This guy's in his own world. And look, I'm like, he's gonna, as like, you know, main character, just go on, and we have to stop. But I'm like, but if I was on my phone like him, we would just collide. So, sorry, to continue my theory was, it's in that bimodal distribution. It's the better, more aware drivers with the unaware. When they combine, no accident. The aware driver and aware driver, no accident. It's when unaware and unaware collide.
It's like, maybe there's three. I would say there's like three tiers. You've got unaware driver, you've got aware driver, and you've got asshole driver.
Okay, you're right. So, oh no, this is a new variable.
I think I would put me like aware driver on the asshole driver side. So like leaning towards asshole driver. I would say if I drove less aggressively, I would call myself a good driver. Does that make sense?
Oh no, so as you go further in the extreme, okay. I don't know where that fits on the graph, but
so like asshole driver is like not using your turn signal, cutting in front of people. Like that's the kind of thing where you're going to cause an accident. You're causing traffic. Like if you're doing things that are causing people to hit their brakes when they shouldn't be hitting their brakes, you are either oblivious or an asshole. I also want to finish by saying the question I want to answer is just, if you replaced all of the good drivers with the unaware drivers, like how much would the accident rate go up? Or if you replace all the bad ones with the good ones? Well, I just want to have an understanding of the dynamics, because I'm convinced that probably half the accidents that would have normally happened are literally, they don't happen just because someone is paying attention and goes, wow, this guy's doing a completely idiotic move, but I noticed this and I'm going to take action to not be in his way. And I feel like that genuinely reduces, I would say, at least a quarter of the accidents. I think asshole drivers they're like a cause of traffic, and they're going to potentially get into more accidents. But I think that unaware drivers are like they say like going slower is more dangerous than speeding. Yeah. Because you cause people to drive more aggressively, and like if the number of lane changes you can reduce, like statistically, you're less likely of getting in an accident. It's like those transitions that cause problems. I just remembered in LA I had I almost just exploded in a car. I forgot about that.
Wait, is it the time that I'm thinking of?
No, you weren't.
You told me about?
Maybe. I don't know. No, I just we were driving. I don't know which highway it was. It's maybe the 10 something, the one that goes downtown.
101.
101.
101 goes downtown.
Either 101 or 405.
I think it's the 101. We were going like full highway speed, and then we're just driving, cruising along. The car in front of me then just flies out of the lane. Yeah. There's just a completely parked car on the highway, like completely stalled. So I had to just crank my wheel into the other lane, and it's when you have that microsecond to be like, is there someone there? And you're like, I don't know. And you just do it. But I was like, if there was somebody there, I looked like insanely fast, and I thought I didn't see anyone in the mirror. But oh my God, it would have just been a full highway smashing someone else. Probably wouldn't have made it out of the lane. Hit the guy parked anyway. Would have just been like an insane.
That's awesome, because this is actually a completely different story than the one I was thinking of.
What was that story?
You have another driving story.
What was that?
It was when you decided to take the exit super fast.
I forgot about that one.
Oh yeah, I think now that you've said something about that, I think I remember there are a handful of stories that I have heard about Nigel. I think we got to put him on middle to oblivious.
So there is a story behind that one. I tried. I was in LA driving a lot.
Wait, because we were hanging out and you went and did something like on your own. Was that?
Yes, that was it. Right? So I came back. Okay, yeah. What happened was I was driving back from seeing my friend in Long Beach. And what I did was the thing I've always complained about when I drove, okay? The thing I've always complained about is, do you know when somebody misses their...
He's trying to pad this. I can see him putting the padding up on the wall.
This is the reasoning. Do you know when someone's in like the left lane and they just cut every lane to go to their exit because they were like late, or they just left...
That's the asshole driver.
Yes, or they went really late and they just like, they do something stupid. They try to they should just go to the next exit. So I was driving back. It was like 1 a.m., I think. Basically, I was just driving, and I don't know if I was listening to music or doing something. I realized I wasn't paying attention. And I wasn't in the far left lane. Okay, I should add that I wasn't paying.
You were zoned out.
I wasn't paying
know what
attention
you're
to my
talking about.
exit. I thought it was in like.
You know when you get in your car and all of a sudden you're pulling up to your driveway and you're
I meant like more. I thought the exit was like another one, but it was one of those things where it's an exit, then your exit's within that exit. But I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
So, but what happened was I was driving and I immediately went, oh no, that was my exit. And then I sat there and I had like 5 seconds to think. It was like 1 a.m. There's no one else on the road. I was like, you know what? I'm going to try being one of those guys who just, just does it. Just
try it out.
Absolutely just goes for it. And the thing...
How did that feel?
Honestly, it was pretty epic. After it happened, all I thought is like, I wish I had a dash cam because it was pretty exciting. It felt great. If that's what happens every time they do it, I would.
No, but what happened?
Yeah,
Nigel?
yeah.
I feel
I
like
think
you're
like
leaving out the detail of when you actually did your power move over.
Okay, so here in Montreal, those lines after.
He's got to preface it with 100 years of civic.
No. I'm
engineering
explaining
to make sure
to
it
understand.
justifies
So the story
story
makes sense.
To justify this bullshit he's about to tell you.
So here in Montreal, when you have those like the lines that start like the triangle starts forming because
the lanes start splitting.
Yeah, and like your exit's going off. Here, it's usually just like it's
flat.
It's just flat. It's just painted road, and then where the concrete barrier starts again, you have like some barrels of water. Like if you really just screw up and hit that, but other than that, it's just flat. So I thought that's how LA did it, but it's 1 a.m., so there's no light. And when my head, so I was going like 60 miles an hour. I just turned the wheel. And it's only when I'm about to go over like the triangle thing that I'm like, oh, that's not how they do it here. You guys have like an actual curb, like a full median.
It's like a sidewalk.
Yeah, you have like a full sidewalk.
Basically.
So I was like, I can't. There's no. You have to full commit, right? There's like, if I swerve back, you're gonna like flip your car. So I had to fully commit. And
you hit the brakes or hit the gas?
I just turned the wheel. No, I didn't hit either. I just took my foot off the gas. But I'm like, if you hit your brakes,
Okay.
Jesus was
you're
driving.
just going to explode. I don't know. It's bad. You got to just commit. You need speed because if you hit something going really fast like a curb, you kind of just cruise over it, right? No, I'm just joking.
Yeah.
So I
like water.
All I know is I was at the point of no return where if I turned left, I would have just gone straight. And I probably would have hit like the median or something stupid. I think there's a sign in front of me too. So I'm like, the best is to commit to go into the exit lane. And by the way, there's nobody else around. If there was even anyone was around, I would have not done that. But what saved me was I noticed in the fraction of a second that the curb was actually eroded. Like, thankfully, your infrastructure is in shambles. So
Yeah.
the curb was not a full curb. It
Thank
was like,
God.
do you know in some places where people drove their bikes over the curb so many times, it's kind of like little, it falls apart.
It's like a
It's like
ramp.
a little
Yeah,
ramp.
yeah.
So all I
yeah.
said was, all I need is for my left wheel to hit this because I'm not, no way am I clearing it. So I did, but then I think the car went on 2 wheels.
Was this by any chance an orange Camaro with like a Confederate flag painted on it?
No, but it went on the 2 side wheels, and I was going like 60. Then it landed, and I just kept going, and I was like, "Man, that was epic. I would do it
Epic.
again." No, all I thought was, "Yeah, that's exactly what I thought would happen when you just crank the wheel blindly." The only time
It was a rental though, right?
it was a rental, and there's no damage. Well, actually,
Hey guys, anyone listening to this podcast, don't buy rental cars.
so
Really,
the moment that happened, I thought 2 things: A, wow, yeah, never buy a rental car, and also that it was pretty hype. Like I mean, it was pretty exciting.
Yeah,
But then also,
yeah.
I just realized I never even checked if there was damage. I literally just drove back to your place, went to bed, and never checked the car.
I would have done the same thing.
Just never looked.
Nigel, I can't tell if that's bad driving or good driving.
No, I was trying to be like the bad drivers, so it's bad driving.
I think that Nigel is in this kind of weird like limbo.
I chose
state.
to be bad.
It's neither good nor bad.
Bad. I didn't wait. No, bad didn't choose me. I chose. No. Wait,
It's always like it's like I didn't. It's like I was like I didn't mess up. I just chose to mess up. It's like, well, is that worse than just doing it, or is that better? Like it's kind of worse.
I've never done anything like that. The worst
the
thing
only
I think
time
I've
I've
ever
done
done. My most shameful is probably I think none of the accidents are really that bad. It's running a couple red lights, but not because I wanted to. It was just because I was like exhausted or not paying attention. It's only happened twice in my life, and I always every time that it's always like I don't run the red lights. I need to what just happened. But other than that, like who's the worst driver that you can think of? I have one. I won't say who it is, but I remember going to college. We'd commute with people, and we had a small group of like 3 of us that would take turns driving. And I always get really mad. There's a steep hill going between where I live and Los Angeles, and it's called the Grade. It's just a steep part of the freeway, and people will go in the fast lane and go 65. And they're going 65 because of the hill, not because they don't want to go fast, because they were just going 75 or 80 before you hit the hill. So I always get like those are that's when I go from what I would consider like the middle driver to the asshole driver is in those kinds of situations where someone is essentially holding you up. There's nobody in front of them. There's no reason for them to be doing that. Then I get aggro and will go around them. Not in a way where it's going to cause problems, but I would still say that it leans towards more aggressive than what a good driver would do.
Yeah, I guess the first thing that came to mind, I used to date someone and she was a very nervous driver. And you know what it was? It was, like people, like they don't do hand over hand when they turn the steering wheel. They do like the little shifts.
Oh yeah.
What? And they don't want to like do too much turning at a time, and they go.
It's like milking a cow. It's like milking 2 udders at the same time.
Sure.
That is such a red. That's like oh
this,
god.
Nigel, like
this,
grab, like pull. Wait.
It's like
pull.
Yeah, and that's immediate. Like, oh no, this is not safe. This is. It feels safer, but it's definitely not safer. Like the little minute adjustments that you do, because you can't like maneuver properly if you do that.
There's 2 I can think of. One is one of the kids we commuted with, one of the guys, he did the thing I hate where he's in the fast lane going like 60, 65. I didn't say anything because it's like, yeah, I don't want to have this conversation right now, but it's like, get out of the lane. The other one was one of my friend's mom. If you ever see somebody put white driving gloves on, don't get in the car.
Ooh. I thought that meant they were a good driver.
Well, I think in most cases, 99% of the time, if you see somebody put the white driving gloves on, they're not a good driver.
Did she also have like an aviator cap and goggles that she would put on?
It was bad. It was like I fell asleep, and I was like, I actually really, this is giving me anxiety. I'm just gonna try to sleep, and if I die in my sleep, that's fine. Yeah.
Just went to sleep and hoped you would never wake up.
Yeah.
I think the thing,
something like that.
I think the thing that like always. To me, like probably the thing that irks me the most is like what you said when they just sit in the left lane, or when they just like I've had so many people I drive with. This is what I would say is one of the big things that people do that they don't even realize is dangerous is just not respecting distances. So it's just like I'm in my I've had so many friends. I'm sitting there and I just go, I don't want to be a backseat driver, but I just have a hypothetical question for you. What happens if the guy in front of you slams on their brakes?
You die.
And they're just like, well, I'd stop. And I go, do you have the space? And they're like, no, I'll probably hit them. And I'm like, okay, just food for thought. That's it.
This is like, we're missing Kevin. I just remembered, like, Kevin's not here. And that
Kevin
is
and
like,
Sandra are
like I remember Will had to give an entire tutorial that was like, the beginning of a video game where you're just learning to be a main character. And he was trying to teach Kevin how to brake. brake the truck that he was driving so that he wouldn't rear end someone. And so you just kept yelling like all right, imagine there's an egg on the brake pedal. Like, you don't slam the brakes, you do it, and you just eventually it devolved into you just screaming egg, egg, egg whenever he was like getting way too close to the person in front of him.
Kevin and Sandra, I think it's Florida drivers. Like, you take them, you have to cut them in half and put them on the opposite side. Like, each half of them is on the opposite side of the graph. Like, they have the oblivious and the super like asshole driver combined.
Because they all, I'd never seen this before. They
Oblivious
all fill
asshole.
up their gas with the car still running.
Yeah.
That's the only time I've ever seen that. Have you ever seen a Florida person get gas? This happened on 2 separate occasions.
And Alan, our Uber driver stopped at the gas station. Remember that?
Yes, we had an Uber driver stop at the gas station. We were still sitting in the back, and the car was running the entire time, and he filled up with the... I think Kevin did that one.
Yeah, Kevin did that.
This is literally actually known to cause fires at gas stations now.
Everyone in Florida that I've seen fill up on gas fills up with their car running.
Mythbusters did a whole ass episode on do cell phones cause like your car to light on fire if there's gas, right? Like, didn't they do a whole episode on that? Like, cell phones
it
starting
sounds
fires
like
at gas stations?
it sounds like a thing they would do.
And yet people are like, I'll leave my car running at the gas station.
Well, okay, let me say this. I thought it was outrageous. I thought it was crazy. But then once I saw evidence of people doing that and their cars being okay, there was one time after that where I was back in California. I was in a hurry. I filled up my gas. I left the car running because I was like, I'm going to save myself a couple seconds. I know this works. I've seen it.
But how could it possibly save you any time?
Because then you don't have. It's like you don't restart your car. You just fucking jump back in and you take off.
It reminds me of when my friend Alan. It reminds me. I actually think about this when I don't fill up gas anymore. But it's like
I learned it by watching them.
But Alan, it reminded me of my friend who once told me. He said that like sometimes he's like where he lived, there's a gas station on the way, and he'd say he'd be late for work, and when he's low on gas, he's like, I actually need to stop or I won't make it to work. So he goes, so what I often do, he would say, he goes, I don't fill all the way so that I'll get to work like quicker. And I would just be like,
oh, and so
you know that filling the rest of your tank is 30 seconds.
That sounds like some sort of
He goes,
like,
no, I just go back to the gas station after work. And I'm like, why? You're already there. You can't possibly like lose that much time. He's like, I fill it to like 80% or something and I come back later. I'm like, what?
Yeah,
okay.
But if you also left his car running, just imagine that's a whole minute there.
Minute.
This is I'll give you a personal anecdote on why you should never refuel anything when it's running, unless you have a
Florida.
very good
My
reason,
question
like
for
you're
you
a
is
fighter jet
how
and you can't land and you have to get refueled in the air.
Yeah, but what happens if you need efficiency?
Then you die. You take on the risk of dying. Okay, I was a kid.
Oh no.
6, 7, 8 years old. You know, family, middle class, motorhome. The Osman family going on a motorhome trip around the western United States.
I can see it.
We're driving, we're camping, we're seeing bison, we're whatever the hell you do. We're in Idaho. We need to fill the propane up, right? Because it's a motorhome. It's got a stove, it's got a refrigerator. Uses propane. Do you know that they use propane to run refrigerators in a lot of motorhomes?
As a refrigerant?
No, as the process that happens is like a heat-based process that there's something with ammonia maybe. It uses heat to cool things on the inside by creating essentially some sort of weird refrigeration cycle. It's interesting. So it doesn't have a compressor, I think. I'm pretty sure.
Weird.
Go to the place that does propane. They hook the propane up to the motorhome. They start filling it with propane. And then a huge fireball comes off the side of the motorhome, probably 20 feet in diameter. Because inside of the motorhome, the refrigerator had its pilot. It was like water heater, refrigerator. I don't know. There was some pilot. There's a pilot light that stays running, and it was slowly leaking when they were filling. It wasn't connected correctly, the propane connection. And so it was leaking out. And I don't remember if it was filling and leaking or if they kept trying to do it and it kept not. Long story short, it was leaking propane as they were trying to fill it or as it was filling. And the gas made it to the pilot light that was on. And it essentially blew out the side of the motorhome. The motorhome was fine, but it was like, I remember an extremely large fireball. Way bigger of a fire. First of all, there probably never should be a fireball when you were filling propane, but the size of the fireball was also far too big for what it should have been. So I think like there is legitimate concern for refueling while you have potential ignition sources.
Right, but that wasn't at a gas station, and that was
Yeah,
propane, not gasoline.
It was at a gas station that had propane gas. Arguably more dangerous than gasoline, but still.
I will continue to keep that option in my back pocket when I feel like I need to gain 20 seconds on my way to something. And I need to refill.
We're all going to die one day. I mean, you know what? If it works in Florida, I don't see why it can't work here.
Everyone does it in Florida.
That's so weird. I was thinking about that the other day.
Wait, okay. When you go to like Oregon or New Jersey, who doesn't let you fill your gas up? You have to pay the
Oh,
attendant.
right. Yeah, like there's a law. Oh, it's one of them. Yeah, I don't
Jersey,
remember
you
which
have to
one.
shut
But
your
I know
car off
Jersey, they
there?
don't let you.
Jersey?
Yeah. They don't trust you.
I don't know.
I
I mean,
get it.
that sounds like it would be a good policy. I don't know if it is.
I thought turning your car
But-
off was just a thing that was like universally known.
Understood as being
Well,
probably
that's
a
why
good
it was.
idea.
That's why it was so bizarre when we like were witnessing that for Creator Clash, and then when I did it, I was like, "Oh wait, this totally works."
It does. Okay, have you ever seen a really shitty car on the road?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, imagine if there's something wrong and there's like a gasket or something, or like on the manifold, like there's just enough of a hole where you're getting like really hot gases coming out or potentially flames coming out.
Uh-huh.
Or, you know, have you ever seen a car backfire where flames come out of the exhaust? Now imagine, you know, I don't know, when I fill up gas, usually gas doesn't come out, but like sometimes vapors do. But I could imagine that some gas stations are as poorly held together as the car that is leaking flames. And you get the right mixture of leaking fuel and leaking engine exhaust, or, you know, fuel that's still burning coming out.
I want to lean into it even more. I want there to be a service where like a big agricultural quadcopter flies down and refills your car as you're driving on a long road
Well, that's
trip.
different, because if it does catch on fire, all the burning will happen behind you because you're driving fast.
You'll drive away. Yeah, as long as you're driving faster than the speed of flame, then your car will never be on fire.
All right, leave a comment down below letting us know if you think it's okay to fuel your car up while it's running, or if you think it's a bad idea, or if you just don't give a shit, and if you die, you die.
Or if you know it's a bad idea, but it doesn't matter.
At the end of the day, all that really matters is that you go to patreon.com and support Safety Third Podcast, or go to safetythird.shop. I think that's the website. Let me double check that really quick. It is safetythird.shop. I got it right. To buy Safety Third Dumpster Fire T-shirt. Excellent T-shirt. Alan can comment on that. Nigel can't because he lives in Canada and he can't ship things in there. We got pins. We got stickers. Check that out. Thank you to everybody on Patreon who supports us. Look at all these people. Their names are going on the screen right now. I never really know how long to leave it up there. I saw some talking in a Discord on about how to get your name on the back end. Oh, you know, I guess for people who listen to the podcast too, they can't see.
So I want to say,
it's
I have to say one thing quick.
Oh yeah.
Was Kevin's car diesel?
No.
Oh.
No. Who has a diesel car?
Some people do.
Do you know anyone that has a diesel car?
I did.
That was ominous. Jesus.
My dad had one of the VW ones that got recalled. My dad made money on that car. He bought it used and then they had to buy it back at like an exorbitant rate. It actually very interesting car to drive if you drive stick shift, a diesel car, because the noises that you're used to for shifting are much lower. So the frequency that you have to shift is significantly lower on a diesel. It sounds like you're shifting like kind of mid. I don't know. It's weird. But yeah, thank you to everyone who supports us. If you want your name at the end of this podcast, if you want to be known publicly for supporting such a piece of shit podcast,
I want a
that's
name
the
to
Galaxy
be here
Brains
so I
way.
can lick it.
I think the names are far gone. We usually end the podcast far
crap.
after we should have. We say it's going to end, and then someone brings up a topic last minute, and it keeps on going. All right, we'll see you guys on the extra right now. What? All All right, I'll see you guys next week. And everyone on Patreon, we'll see you on the next hour that is on Patreon after this. Bye.